In 2155, an atomic mushroom soars over Los Angeles. The US government blames artificial intelligence for this. To avoid a new tragedy, the Western world is banning everything related to robotics. However, the republics of New Asia continue to produce dangerous machines. Technology is being developed there that makes it possible to place human intelligence in a robotic body with any face. Such creatures are called imitants. Decades after the destruction of Los Angeles, Joshua and his pregnant wife Maya spend time at a beach house. The imitant guard Harun drags inside the military man, who was caught watching them. Harun informs the couple that he has discovered the American battle station Nomad, which will be here soon. While Maya is packing her things, Joshua asks the prisoner to inform the Americans that there is no man named Nirmatu in this house, and insists on stopping the operation. Maya finds out that her husband is working undercover, helping the intelligence to catch a prominent AI designer. Then the woman runs away with the imitant guards. Joshua tries to catch up with her, but the Nomad drops a bomb, and the boat disappears in the blast wave. 5 years have passed. The intelligence services continue to hunt for the mysterious Nirmatu. Joshua is still grieving the loss of his beloved wife. He works in Los Angeles as a part of a robot recycling team. Meanwhile, the US government is completing work on the new Project Nomad. Now, a huge space station stuffed with all kinds of new weapons hovers in the sky above the Earth. Joshua remembers how he told Maya about his family, who died in the explosion. The man lost his arm and leg, which are now replaced by prosthetics. One day, Joshua is contacted by General Andrews and Colonel Howell. They try to recruit him to find and destroy the new Alpha O weapon developed by Nirmatu. It is capable of destroying the Nomad, which will immediately change the balance in the war. Joshua is still angry at the military for hitting the boat with his wife and refuses. But the military is showing a video of Maya, who is still alive, which was filmed just a couple of days ago. They offer the man to reunite with her if he works as a guide for a military team. After all, only he knows how to find this bunker. Joshua accepts the terms of the deal. The group flies to New Asia. On the way, Colonel Howell tells the man about the death of both of her sons in the war, which explains her hatred of machines. Under the cover of the Nomad, the American plane lands in New Asia. Joshua leads the team to the site where the laboratory was, but it is now nowhere to be seen. The soldiers are trying to find out from the locals where the bunker is. Joshua realizes that it was simply buried, after which he finds the entrance. The group successfully enters the complex where the weapons are supposed to be stored, but the scientists manage to lower the protective screen. While the soldiers are trying to open it, local police arrive at the bunker. The group is forced to take a defensive position. Joshua is left alone in front of the bunker door. They find out the code, but inside they discover only a robotic imitant, in the form of a child. The girl is busy watching cartoons and is not afraid of the military. A wounded female scientist walks inside and opens fire. She orders the girl to run and find Nirmata. The girl and Joshua get out of the bunker. They see the military quickly loading into a helicopter because Nomad is about to hit the lab. They pick up the last soldier, not noticing that a homing mine is attached to his backpack. An explosion occurs, destroying the helicopter. The only survivors are those who missed the flight, including Joshua. The next moment, a missile from the Nomad destroys the complex. The next morning, Joshua comes to his senses in a boat on the riverbank and sees the girl who found him. He tries to drive her away and rushes to help the wounded comrade. They understand that it will be impossible to get out of the field, which is being actively searched by the robots. Joshua drags the wounded man into the barn. The girl silently comes and sits in front of the TV. Joshua turns it off, but the girl turns it back on, with just one movement of her hand. Joshua understands that the girl has the ability to remotely control electronics. Howell gets in touch. Joshua reports that the weapon is shaped like a child. The woman orders to destroy it, since they have no way to bring the weapon to the United States. Then Howell is surrounded and arrested by Asian police imitants. Meanwhile, an imitant peasant enters the house. He calls the girl a miracle and prepares swears to kill the Americans, but he himself dies from a bullet. Joshua looks at the girl's drawing. He shows her Maya's photo and realizes that she knows her. The police are almost at the door. The man drags his wounded comrade into the car and orders the girl to get inside. The fugitives are saved by a dog, which carries a grenade into the midst of police robots while the car drives away. At this time, Howell and one of his soldiers neutralize the robot and steal his car. Meanwhile, Joshua's car stalls on the road. His comrade realizes that Joshua intends to look for his wife and orders him to go back. But Joshua promises to take him to his former partner and friend, who will help them get out. The girl finds out that the soldier is about to die and stops his heart. Meanwhile, a family pickup truck passes by, and the driver kindly offers to help the couple get into town. Joshua gives the girl the name Alfie, and they get into the car. Howell finds the dead soldier. She writes the remains of his memory onto a chip and inserts it into the imitant. Howell finds out that Joshua and the girl went to the capital. The announcement of the kidnapping of the imitant child is spreading across the news. At the entrance to the city, a pickup truck is stopped by military personnel, but Alfie cuts off all the electricity in the area. She controls the car and, having rammed the post, takes them away from the soldiers. Then Joshua and Alfie go to the factory, where they meet a former military partner, Drew. Alfie is interested in the question of who created humans and what is heaven, to which her parents went. The girl becomes sad that she will not be able to get there because she is not a human. On the way, Joshua remembers how Drew showed him Maya, whom the intelligence services considered Nirmata's daughter. Drew gave him a ring with a beacon so they could track the woman. After examining Alfie, Drew sends her with his girlfriend to the apartment upstairs. He reveals that the girl has the potential to become the most powerful weapon on the planet, as her ability to control technology will grow exponentially. Joshua asks Drew to track Maya's beacon. The partner does not believe in the possibility of saving the woman, but agrees to do it. Meanwhile, the police find Alfie and then attack Drew's apartment and kill his imitant girlfriend. When the policeman wants to take Alfie away, Joshua comes and finishes off the attackers. Howell and her assistant later break into the apartment, but the fugitives are no longer there. Maya's tracker leads them to the coast, and the men realize that they are going to the couple's former house. Joshua goes to search the house and finds the ring. The group is again attacked by police officers, and Drew is fatally wounded. He manages to tell that Maya is actually Nirmata. Then they are captured by new Asian troops under the command of Harun, an imitant soldier and Maya's former guard. Joshua remembers how Maya told him that her father was a great AI designer. After his death, she was adopted and cared for by the imitants. Harun takes Joshua and Alfie to a coastal village. He says that the tragedy in Los Angeles occurred due to a coding error made by a human. The US government unfairly places the blame on AI, which only wants to exist peacefully with humans. At this moment, the nomad appears above the village, and everyone is distracted by it. Alfie releases Joshua, who hides under the bottom of the boat. The man sees the consequences of the American strike and hears how imitants are discussing Alfie's ability to destroy the nomad. To do this, she needs to get on board, but Alfie herself will not survive. At night, Joshua finds the girl in the village and takes her to the boat. Suddenly, Howell begins to attack. Robots and imitants take up defensive positions. A huge tank moves into the village, destroying everything around. Alfie sees this and rushes to save tribesmen. The tank is blown up, but it is still dangerous because Howell is inside. She sends robots filled with explosives to the village. One reaches the target and explodes. The second one is stopped by Alfie. Joshua picks up the girl who was hit and carries her to Harun. Alfie is transported to Nirmata, who turns out to be Maya. She has been in a coma since the attack on her home. Alfie was created based on Joshua and Maya's unborn daughter, who was scanned in the womb. Joshua and Alfie arrive at the monastery, where Maya is in the care of the imitant monks. Since the robots cannot harm Nirmata, she remains in a state of of torpor and cannot die. Alfie asks Joshua to help her leave this world. He disconnects Maya from life support in tears of grief. Then Howell arrives at the monastery with her forces. She's trying to scan the brain of the deceased in order to get all her secrets. Harun prevents her from doing this and asks Joshua to destroy the Nomad and save his fellow tribesmen. The men and Alfie try to escape, but they are captured by the Americans and taken to Los Angeles, while the Nomad destroys the monastery. General Andrews is confident that it was Joshua who seized the weapon, executing his orders. He therefore trusts Joshua to kill Alfie with a stun device. The man whispers something to the girl and then turns her off. He then takes the robot's body to a recycling facility. At this time, the general learns that Joshua gave Alfie the command to switch off, but not to die. Meanwhile, Alfie turns off the car's power and the couple escapes. They get to the spaceport and manage to take off. Andrews orders all flights to return, but Alfie takes over the piloting and heads the plane towards Nomad. The general orders a large-scale attack on the remaining AI bases around the world. An evacuation signal sounds at the station, while Joshua plants timed explosives. Alfie turns off the ship's power and then runs to the cargo hold where the emittents are being transported. She finds a copy of Maya's consciousness. She takes her out into the garden and activates her with a memory chip. The missiles approach their targets as Joshua tries to reach the escape pod. Andrews activates the octopus robot, which first grabs Alfie and then Joshua. The Nomad begins to explode. Joshua is forced to eject the capsule with only Alfie. Nomad continues to fall apart. Joshua sees Maya in the garden. He hugs and kisses her for the last time. On the Earth, Alfie lands safely in New Asia and sees its inhabitants celebrating the destruction of the station and the coming of peace.